We are back, baby, and we're coming in hot with our most requested YouTube video, how to become a watch dealer in 2026. Full disclaimer, if you think that this industry is easy, then this video is not for you.
2026 is not your quick cash era. You can't do crypto pump and dumps anymore.
But in a time where the economy is struggling, we're gonna let you in on the secret tips and tricks on how to make it in this industry. Number one, the most important thing is building relationships.
In a time that supply is more than demand, people are paying for an experience rather than a transaction. You can't just have bulk cash anymore and expect to sell watches.
Now, let me tell you why building relationships in this industry is one of the most important things. What building relationships in this industry means? It means you have an avenue to sell if you get stuck with stock. It gives you an avenue to buy at good prices so that you can sell. So one method that worked for me when building relationships was I would buy off anyone. I'd find the most popular models of many brands, whether it be Omega, Grand Seiko, IWC, or lower end Rolex. I'd find the best dealers at it and I'd attempt to buy off them as they've gained the trust of many buyers and they're well known in their industry. What this did for me is build rapport in my industry, whether it be on Facebook forums, Instagram wasn't around yet, Gumtree, eBay. I had references across Australia to say that I was a legitimate seller. And that is one of the most powerful things that you can have starting off when you don't have many funds, when you don't have many people that know you. If you have references from some of the biggest sellers in Australia, it's going to push you a long way. This doesn't mean messaging every dealer asking for advice and pissing them off. You physically have to buy the watch. People aren't going to respect you if you just message, hey, I'm trying to become a watch dealer. We get this message 100 times a day. You need to prove yourself in this industry. Now, I'd be going on Instagram, websites, wherever you can find some of the top dealers in Australia, there's a lot of them, and attempting to buy or even sell something that you've bought. You do not need to make profit when building relationships. You may need to take a loss or buy a watch and sell that at a loss just in order to build the relationship with the dealers. I did this many times because you're playing the long game. If you're looking for quick cash, it's just not gonna happen like this. Relationships are built over time.
When we first started the business, we would deliberately buy off other dealers just to generate the first conversation and relationship. We did this over and over again. We never asked by saying, what's your best price, or trying to get the best buck in the beginning.
Dealers are gonna respect you more if you know what you're talking about, you know what the market is, and you're ready to buy. Don't come asking, hey, do you know what the market is on this, and do this. Do your own research first. Learn the market and be confident when you make an offer to these guys. Consistency over time is key. Number two, let's talk about how much money you need. Times have changed. I started with 3 to 5K. This is not going to get you anywhere in today's day and age. You have 20, 30, 40, maybe even 50 other competitors compared to when I started. There was maybe 10 to 20. Realistically, I would say you need at least $10,000 to make this work. Anything less, you're going to struggle moving Tissos and Seikos because Tissot and Seiko buyers are very hard to deal with, to be honest.
When it comes to selling, capital is one thing. However, how much capital you need really depends on what is your market. I found that a lot of people have no idea what their market is. Are you targeting a specific group of people? What's their age? What's their occupation? What's their income? You need to know who you are selling to. A lot of people who became a watch dealer doesn't start as a watch dealer. What is your advantage and what is your leverage point? Are you a real estate agent? If you are, then what is your circle?
This is really important because if you're a real estate agent, you cannot offer real estate agents Tissos, Seikos, low-end Omega. They're not going to buy that sort of stock. So you need more capital in order to facilitate your circle. It used to be you could buy any watch, any price point and sell to anyone, but the market has tightened. It's squeezed. You now got to work to the best of your abilities to find the right people to sell to. One thing you really need to know about this, it's not just about using your circle, knowing people. You need to have straight hustle about you. You will not make it in this industry if you're just like, oh, the market looks like it's 5.5, I'll buy for 5.3. No, you need to hustle. You need to buy below market. I used to scour hours on the web to find the cheapest, and then I'd negotiate even lower so that I could sell for a touch cheaper. And you need to remember, whether it's 5K, 10K, 15K watches, each transaction is a potential new client for you, whether you're buying or selling. So you need to give the best possible service so that you can retain these guys as clients. Number 3, knowing your product. There is that many idiots out there that have no idea what they're talking about in watches. I have seen some of the most clapped watch sent to me by some of these want-to-be watch dealers that know nothing about what a full set is, whether a watch is polished, what the actual condition of the watch is. You need to know all these things.
The first thing you've got to do is know inside and outside of what you're selling. If you're selling me a watch that's full set and it only has a card and the watch, well, then the watch is most likely not a full set, isn't it? There's a lot of things around the details that I think a lot of people are missing. For example, Rolex has a lot of different period accessories. What happens before the millennium? What happens in the last 10 years? They all correspond to different things such as red hang tags, green hang tags, how many booklet, what instruction manual is there. Those are very basics of the trade.
Another important thing, you need to at least know the best models from most brands. You can't be a one-dimensional dealer and just sell Rolex anymore. You need to know about Grand Seiko, IWC, Breitling, TAG, and you need to know what comes with each one of these watches and what period did they have digital warranty cards versus hard warranty cards, whether it was a small box, medium box, or large box for Rolex. Guys don't even know the difference. That's how stupid this industry is getting. We got these kids coming, oh yeah, they dropped me off a watch, full set, it's missing the outer box, it's missing the green hang tag. This is unprofessional. ChatGPT exists now. You can find a lot of these things on ChatGPT, what period this watch was made, you know, what this watch is meant to come with. That's very easy to find. Stop meeting in car parks and getting your torch out and looking at the watch condition. That's how people come to me, oh Callum, it's mint condition. When you put it in actual light in an office, you see the scratches on the bezel, scratches on the dial. You need to actually look out for these things. And things that need to be replaced cost a lot of money. You will lose thousands if you do not check the condition. Now, over time, and looking at watches is the only thing that's going to teach you whether a watch is polished, whether a watch needs a service, scratches, what to look out for on a specific watch. Google probably won't be able to help you with those things. You just need time in the game and just handling hundreds and thousands of watches, just looking at it to actually understand whether something has been polished, unpolished. This just takes time. Number 4. The buying process and safety. Too many of you idiots are meeting in car parks, in Macca's, in Broady, in Greenacre, and just doing these random handover deals. This is not safe. I've seen so many people get scammed with fake bank transfers, fake everything. You need to buy safely, and this is how.
Number 1, although me and Callum started out without an office, you need an office. It's 2026. It's not hard to get yourself a safe space. Number 2, you have got to know who you are dealing with. Before you meet someone, have an approximate idea what they do and slight information around them so you know who you are actually speaking to. Number 3, during the transaction, I always say this, if the money doesn't land your account, or if the money doesn't land his account instantly, something might not be exactly right.
If the money has not landed in your account, the watch is not getting handed over. It's that simple. I've heard of too many people getting scammed, handing over watches, not checking watches to whether they're real or fake, going to the watchmaker. You got to get everything checked. There's watchmakers all throughout the city, whether in Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, there's watchmakers everywhere. Having an office is very, very easy, whether it's shared workspace, co-working space. Meet at a safe place and make sure before you transfer money so you don't get scammed.
When I first started the business with Callum, I loved vintage watches, in particularly vintage day dates. But I did not know that the water is so deep in vintage that it's almost like studying a uni degree. I would recommend not starting off with vintage watches as your first go-to. There are many successful vintage watch dealers in the industry, and most of them started with immense amount of experience, trial and error, and most of the time losing a lot of money.
I know it's tempting to go into vintage Rolex because people are like, oh my God, Rolex always sells. And you can get one for 5,000 or 6,000. But you are going into an absolute minefield when we're talking vintage Rolex. Whether the hands are re-loomed, dials swapped, movements fake, you will not be able to tell if you haven't had experience in the field. The best vintage watch dealers have been in the game for over 10 years. Even me today, there's certain vintage watch pieces that I will not touch, and I've been doing this for over 5 years just because I haven't seen enough. This isn't about just Googling online. You need to have the watch in hand. You need to have seen these watches. There's so many of you guys falling down the trap of buying cheap vintage watches because it's cheap and trying to make a quick $500, but not knowing and getting caught and losing heaps of money because you just don't know what you're selling. Part 5, this is one of the most important parts. You buy the seller, not the watch. With AI dominating, people don't want to talk to robots anymore. You need to be a genuine person. People will catch the bullshit.
Essentially, a lot of people have the same stock. You need to ask yourself a question. What makes people select you? Why buy from you when I have 20 other selections? That comes to how well you know your product, how well you serve your customer, and what sort of demographic are you targeting?
Tom, Dick, and Harry all have the same Starbucks, so you really need to differentiate yourself. Are you a genuine guy? Have you serviced them well before in the past? Is your price competitive? These are all the things that you need to know. Little things are going to get you the win over other dealers. Do you know your product better than the next guy? Have you had the watch serviced? Do you know if it's polished? There's so much overseas stock flooding our markets. It's dropping the price. Having the stock is no longer winning in this industry. You need to build good relationships like we spoke about before. How many deals have you done? How many people have you served? How many 5-star reviews do you have? These are all super important things.
In this field, first impression is extremely important. What I mean is not just how you look, is how do you curate the experience at the first thing when the person steps in the door.
10 years ago, it used to be walk in, sit down, get a glass of water, have a champagne, size the watch. Things are changing because people want the experience. Take it for us for an example. We're doing quick flips, we're doing funny videos, we're doing coin flips. What makes you different to the other dealers? JC and I, we do something different. JC can provide a very retail luxury service, which is necessary when you're selling 50, 60, or even over $100,000 watches. But there's still a new generation coming through. They want to have fun. They don't want to be boring when they do the deal. You sit there, have a champagne. They want something different. And I think you need to find what you can provide that is different to anyone else. Now, if you've made it this far, this is the real shit.
I see a lot of people coming to me and say, I want to do this industry, and ask, what makes you want to become a watch dealer straight up? And they said, because it makes good money straight away. Well, the reality is no. If you're looking to do this for 12 months, then become a real estate agent, I think you should become a real estate agent now. If you're looking for this in a very short term, the term is not going to give you time to learn the knowledge necessary to accelerate you to the place you want. That is just how the reality of every trade is. The second thing is, it's very important in general, and we cannot teach you this, to be genuinely a good person to deal with. And that means you have a decent character, a character that holds by your word, a character that built your trust by time, and a character that is being able to serve people to 1,000 miles further. These are very important attributes before you try to buy and sell any watches. Same as any other trading industry.
JC and I both came from completely different industries. JC from architecture and I was an electrician. Now, there is no harm in doing something part-time on the side first while you build up the skills and learn the things necessary to become a genuinely good watch dealer. Being able to navigate communication sales is super important. If you can't buy, negotiate, and sell the watch, how are you meant to make it in this industry? You need to be able to break balls essentially in 2026 because the deals aren't just out there. I used to buy off Gumtree. I used to find deals on Marketplace. The deals are drying up because there's more dealers. You need to know how to negotiate and communicate effectively without being completely fake. JC had to learn from the start. Coming from a background of architecture, the communication style that he learnt was very different to the one that is watches. But JC did it, and so can you. Cash flow is one of the most important things. If JC wasn't managing my cash flow right now, I'd be blowing money everywhere. I'd have more watches, I wouldn't know where my profit is. Having a good accountant and having good cash flow is one of the most powerful things in a watch business. It can send you under if you don't know where your money is going. So if you're lazy and you skip to the end, here are the 3 non-negotiables of becoming a watch dealer in 2026. First of all, having relationships in the industry. Without relationships, you will not be able to buy or sell effectively.
B is having a decent character. No one wants to deal with you when you don't have integrity.
And C, knowing your product and the market. No one wants to deal with someone who has no idea about what they're selling or how much they're selling it for. Now, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more videos from JC and I in 2026, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment down below what you want to see next week.